This video was made possible by Wix. If you're ready to create a website, head over to wix.com/go/infographics2019 to try out one of their premium plans right now. Memories have brought us to where we are and allow us to anticipate where we'll go next. But what if we had none and further couldn't make any? What if we were drifting in decades of darkness with no idea what happened last or what was soon to come? Memories are what anchor us in time and to the people around us. Without them, we become lonely, lost, and confused. For Clive Waring, amnesia is living death. Learn about his burden with the worst case of amnesia ever in this episode of the Infographic Show, The Man with the 30-Second Memory. To understand the life of Clive Waring, we must first understand memory. It begins with what we experience. While we interact with the world around us, the neurons or nerve cells of our brains are busy firing away to make sense of what we touch, taste, hear, feel, and see. And it turns out these cells play a crucial role in our ability to remember these later on. When electrodes were placed on the brains of study subjects as they watched part of a show, for instance, firing from one neuron to another could be seen in the hippocampus and the cortex of their brains. When the subjects later recalled the show, it reactivated the neurons that had fired as they watched it the first time. It's believed we must recall past events to strengthen neural pathways, or they will not transfer well to long-term memory. On the other hand, if we do revisit an event, it will become both vivid and rich in detail, as well as easy to recollect. The same is true for the brain in general, as it's made up of muscle. If it's used often, it grows strong. In absence of exercise, it grows weak. Of course, over time, like the other muscles in our body, its function will decline as part of the natural course of life. However, while slowed activity or lapses in memory can be normal with age, a drastic loss of days to years of our past is not. Neither is the inability to remember anything new. Sometimes this happens when things go wrong in the brain, particularly with the hippocampus or cortex. The hippocampus sits in the temporal lobe, deep within the center of the brain, and helps with the formation of memory. In addition to this, the hippocampus is where the conversion from short-term to long-term memory takes place. However, it's in the cortex where the long-term memories are stored. As a result, damage to the hippocampus may prevent new memories from being made, while damage to the cortex impacts memories made before. The damage to these structures or the areas immediately around them may result in a condition called amnesia. All kinds of amnesia are characterized by some type of memory loss. Some may be unable to recall past memories, others may fail to make new memories, and many have a limited to non-existent concept of the future. Things that are forgotten include details of what they've done, things that have taken place, people they knew or loved, and facts they learned or were taught. Often, despite this, most retain a basic understanding of who they are and can still perform procedural functions, such as riding a bicycle. Language ability is often intact as well. However, symptoms vary by individual and circumstance, as well as the type of amnesia involved. There are several kinds, including retrograde and anterograde amnesia, among others. Retrograde amnesia is a loss of the past. Often, not all memories vanish completely. Generally, the most recent ones are lost, while older ones may remain, or in the case of a degenerative condition, are the last to disappear. This phenomenon is known as Ribot's Law. It takes place because newer memories have weaker connections, while older memories have had more time to be recalled and grow stronger. Those with this condition may still make new memories despite their inability to recall the past before the brain injury took place. Semantics are often preserved, such as what color is which or what word means what, and skills or procedural abilities may remain as well. Events that took place or episodic memories, however, will be forgotten. Retrograde amnesia does not occur because of damage to the hippocampus, but to the prefrontal cortex or other locations where long-term memories are sometimes stored. Causes of retrograde amnesia include hitting the head, having a stroke, periods without oxygen, growths in the brain infection, or alcohol abuse. In the case of Harrison Ford, engine failure in a subsequent plane crash left him with serious injuries requiring hospitalization. He could not explain what had happened before the crash due to the loss of memory surrounding the event. Because he could not remember what took place prior to getting hurt, but continues to know what happened after, this would be an instance of retrograde amnesia. Another well-known individual, Scott Bolden, suffered from retrograde amnesia as well. In fact, his is one of the most severe cases ever known. After falling and hitting his head, 46 years of his memories were erased. However, though past memories will likely stay lost, he can make new ones today from now on. Anterograde amnesia is different from retrograde amnesia, as it's a loss of one's present. Those with this condition can no longer make memories of what is happening and therefore have no recollection of what just took place. This amnesia is due to problems with the making and then storing of memories and often involves the hippocampus. Memories that are lost because of anterograde amnesia are mostly based on fact, and many will retain procedures or skills. Further, the ability of those with anterograde amnesia to remember long-term memories often remains unchanged. Anterograde amnesia occurs for many reasons. It may be the result of a concussion or physical damage, as well as oxygen deprivation, epilepsy, or emotional trauma. It may also develop because of benzodiazepine drugs, alcohol, or injury to the hippocampus or medial temporal lobe. Oddly enough, it's been caused by a root canal as well. Such was the case of patient W.O. This man was unable to make new memories after the procedure and is stuck in March of 2005 on the day of his visit to the dentist. While this cannot be easily explained, some believe his neurons were negatively impacted in some way. Another man known as patient EP developed anterograde amnesia as well. His was the result of a viral infection that led to widespread inflammation and the destruction of his hippocampus. As a result, he could form no more memories. While retrograde or anterograde amnesia are devastating enough on their own, Clive Waring has both. In fact, Clive has what has been defined as the worst case of amnesia ever known. He was once a successful musicologist, pianist, and conductor until March of 1985. This was when he came down with an infection known as herpes encephalitis. The virus caused massive damage throughout his brain, and unfortunately, he has not been the same since. While Clive can understand what he sees and hears, their meaning is lost in an instant. His memory, which ranges from 7 to 30 seconds, is a moment in time, sometimes spanning the space of 2 blinks of an eye. When he speaks, he'll have forgotten the sentence that came before. If he answers a question, by the time he's done, he'll have forgotten what he was responding to. He has next to no recollections at all, though he has mentioned some childhood events as well as some things he remembers as a student in school. Both were long ago. Before the present moment, there are just decades of nothing, only darkness and a blank void. In fact, Clive believes that before now he was unconscious, in a coma, or for all intents and purposes, dead. To find some continuity in his life, he started a journal hoping it would help. But minute by minute, he would write, "I am awake," "I am conscious," or "this time properly awake," or "this time completely awake," while crossing out the entry from before. It did not take him long to create hundreds and hundreds of such pages. Clive cannot make inferences to fill in the blanks or recognize words in his own writing that he made moments ago. In moments of despair, he's told his wife Deborah that he is entirely incapable of thought. Over time, Clive's mood has improved, though his condition has not. While he may alternate between happiness and depression, during the worst of times his complaint is the same, that he hasn't heard anything, seen anything, touched anything, or smelled anything that he can remember. He says life is like a long night spanning years without an end, and without him being conscious of anything in it. But he has found joy at times through his music and through the love he still feels for his wife. His wife Deborah is the only person he can recognize, though he cannot recall her name. Each time he sees her, he gets overjoyed as he believes that it has been years. When she leaves, he's been known to call her more than once on her way home, asking her to visit, forgetting that she just has. Yet their love endures, strong as it ever was despite it all. The reasons for this are somewhat of a mystery, as emotional memory is not well understood. To Clive, it's a much-needed gift. In an existence like death, Deborah gives him life. It's Deborah who is his one and only joy apart from music, a passion they both always have and will continue to share. As a former pianist, when Clive is asked if he can play a song, he'll respond that he cannot and never has. However, when at the piano, he can play and do so well. Similarly, though he cannot tell you how to get to his home, he can unbuckle his seatbelt, indicating that he knows he's near. He knows his way around his home and he can even prepare a beverage to enjoy. But unless he's actually doing these things, he's unaware he can, and could not explain them if he was asked. Clive is a man who is lost in time with little to no knowledge of his past, and who forgets his present virtually as it takes place. Retrograde and anterograde amnesia have trapped him in only a sliver of consciousness. However, love endures and he holds tightly onto his wife and to his music as a source for comfort. Without these, he's lost without a past in an ever-changing and confusing present, and with more of the same to come. Unfortunately, Clive was not the first to suffer both the loss of his past and an inability to remember his present. Patient HM, famous among the medical community, has these difficulties too. He was 27 years old when he underwent surgery for seizures and the hippocampus from each temporal lobe was removed. Afterwards, he could make no new memories. He also lost his memories of the past, but this was thought to be due to his seizures and the use of anti-epileptic drugs. Like Clive, he forgot who he was talking to or what about almost right away. While he could both draw and practice drawing to improve, he wasn't aware that he had drawn before, much like Clive in his ability to play the piano, though he was unaware that he knew how. While Clive could remember some of his childhood, the same was true for patient HM. In this instance, he was stuck at the age of 16. Mentally, he remained that old until he died. The importance of memories is clear. If structures of the brain are damaged enough, it will impact our lives forever. We may in fact believe that we are no longer really living at all. Due to his amnesia, Clive exists in an often empty world yet has periods of joy as well as distress. A 30-second memory sounds terrible, but did you know you have even less time than that to make an impact on a visitor to your website and actually be remembered? Never fear, because Wix is here to make sure that your personal site stands out from the competition and isn't easily forgotten. Their powerful design tools let you build a site in seconds using fully customizable templates, or you can dive in and build from the ground up if you like. Plus, their subscription services offer 24/7 tech support, and an extensive knowledge base is always available to help you tackle any problems. Don't be easily forgotten. Try out Wix today by visiting the link in the description or going to wix.com/go/infographics2019. With his wife and his music, what do you think of Clive's quality of life? Let us know in the comments. Also, be sure to check out our other video, What If You Smoke 1,000 Cigarettes at the Same Time? Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.